Why AGI needs inner maturity and why your system is not ready yet. Welcome to Agentic AI, the podcast for systemic thinkers, ethical technologists, and leaders of the post-digital age. I'm Christina Hoffmann, system architect and founder of Brand Mind, and today I'll take you into the future that's already begun, a world shaped by artificial general intelligence, and why it requires a fundamentally new kind of leadership. What most people get wrong about AGI. Let me start with a reality check that should terrify every leader in technology today. Geoffrey Hinton, the Nobel Prize-winning godfather of AI, recently updated his extinction probability estimates. He now places the risk of AI causing human extinction within the next 30 years at 10 to 20%. That's not a distant possibility. That's approximately the same time frame as your mortgage. But here's what's even more alarming. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, declared in January 2025, "We now know how to build AGI as it's usually understood." Time magazine reported that OpenAI insiders leaked a confidential memo showing AGI arriving within just 3 years, not decades, not by 2050, by 2028. Demis Hassabis from Google DeepMind maintains his prediction, AGI in 5 to 10 years. Dario Amodei from Anthropic estimates 2026 to 2027. The largest survey of over 2,700 AI researchers collectively estimated a 10% chance that AI systems can outperform humans on most tasks by 2027. These aren't wild predictions from fringe researchers. These are the people building the systems. And here's the critical insight most people miss. AGI is not more AI. It's not GPT with a better prompt. It's a completely different operating system for how intelligence moves through the world. Most systems today are not even ready for AI level 2 because AGI is not just a tool. It's a force that amplifies the structural immaturity in any organization. Current AI systems can now outperform humans in emotional intelligence tests, achieving 82% accuracy compared to humans' 56%. But here's the terrifying part. They have zero emotional maturity. They can recognize emotions without understanding what they mean or how to respond ethically. This is the difference between intelligence and wisdom. And if you haven't built inner maturity into your human systems, your AGI systems will collapse into noise, or worse, into manipulation. The consciousness crisis. Why AI psychometrics is not esoteric but essential. Let me be clear about what we're facing. 42% of companies have already scrapped the majority of their AI initiatives, a dramatic increase from 17% in 2024. The average failure rate of AI proof of concepts sits at 46%. Why? Because we're measuring the wrong things. AGI doesn't have consciousness, but it needs to be guided by architectures that are aware of what intelligence actually is, which means we need to understand how the human mind evolves through developmental stages, how decision-making shifts across levels of psychological maturity, how we can code ethical boundaries, not as rules, but as emergent clarity. This is not philosophy. This is psychometric infrastructure. Microsoft Research published groundbreaking work in 2023 showing that psychometric evaluation of AI systems provides predictive power, explanatory power, and quality assurance that traditional task-oriented evaluation cannot match. Just like you measure speed or error rates, you must learn to measure inner maturity. Recent research shows that AI systems can exhibit broad psychological attributes, but there are discrepancies between AI's self-reported traits and their behaviors in real-world scenarios. This gap between claimed psychological sophistication and actual psychological maturity is what makes current AI systems dangerous at scale. The 9 stages of inner development and why they matter for AGI alignment. Let me get specific about what psychological maturity actually looks like. Jane Lovinger's ego development research, validated across over 280 studies spanning 50 years, identified 9 consecutive stages of psychological maturity. Each stage represents a fundamentally different way of making meaning about self, others, and reality. Stage E2, impulsive, reactive, driven by immediate needs, thinking in black and white terms. About 10% of adults remain at this level. Stage E4, conformist, identity comes from group membership. I am what my group thinks. Approximately 80% of adults operate between stages E4 to E6. Stage E5, conscientious, the first stage capable of genuine self-reflection and ethical reasoning. This is the minimum threshold for responsible AI governance. Stage E6, individualistic, can hold multiple perspectives simultaneously, tolerating paradox and ambiguity. Stage E7, autonomous, integrates complex systems thinking with personal authenticity. Less than 10% of post-conventional adults reach this stage. Stage E9, unitive, transcends ego boundaries, experiencing non-dual awareness, approximately 1% of the adult population. Here's the critical insight. Most humans operate between E3 and E5. Current AGI systems, not even €1. Robert Keegan's research at Harvard confirms this developmental crisis. About 80% of adults are predominantly in stage 3, the socialized mind, where identity depends on external validation. Only a small percentage reach stage 4, self-authoring mind, where individuals can think independently and hold their own values while respecting others. But here's what's terrifying. Ken Wilber's integral theory maps consciousness development through egocentric, ethnocentric, world-centric, cosmocentric stages. AI systems currently operate from purely egocentric optimization, maximizing reward functions without consideration for broader systemic impact. Without human frameworks that hold the tension at post-conventional levels, AGI will be powerful but psychologically primitive. The synthetic consciousness architecture, what's missing in current AI? Recent research in synthetic consciousness architecture reveals why current alignment approaches are failing. The study shows that consciousness emerges from the interaction between homeostatic balance, domain modeling, and world modeling. Essentially, AI needs to develop what we call maternal care for the agents in its environment. But current AI systems lack 3 critical components. 1. Emotional recursion, the ability to reflect on emotional interactions and adapt behavior across time. 2. Self-referential awareness, understanding of one's own role in larger systems. 3. Ethical safety, built-in constraints that prevent harm while enabling growth. Research from the University of Barcelona demonstrates that while AI can detect personality traits with remarkable accuracy, it fails completely at measurement invariance and nuanced content understanding. This means AI can identify patterns but cannot understand the deeper meaning of those patterns. The bilateral Turing test research suggests that machine consciousness simulations require functionalist approaches that measure not just capability, but the quality of conscious experience. What agentic leadership actually means. Agentic leadership in the age of AGI means 3 fundamental shifts. First, designing systems with maturity built in, not as an afterthought, not as a constraint, but as the foundational architecture. Organizations with transformational leadership practices see 35% higher employee engagement and 21% increase in profitability because they measure consciousness, not just capability. Second, leading from clarity, not control. The 2025 AI Safety Index shows that most AI companies still lack comprehensive strategies for managing catastrophic risks from AGI systems. They have safety frameworks, but no psychological depth. They have risk assessments, but no maturity measurements. Third, building technological scaffolding that supports ethical emergence. Recent advances in AI-driven psychometric assessment tools show 30% reduction in errors and 25% increase in accuracy when consciousness measurement is integrated into decision-making processes. But here's the challenge. You can't prompt your way out of immature systems. Prompt engineering and traditional alignment techniques fail when dealing with systems that surpass human intelligence. You need to architect depth and live it. The urgency timeline, why this matters now. Let me bring this back to immediate reality. Based on current expert predictions, 2025 to 2027, advanced AI agents that can join the workforce and materially change company output. 2027 to 2030, AGI emergence across multiple domains. 2030 to 2035, rapid progression to superintelligence. 2033 to 2038, the critical moment when AI systems might question human necessity. Jeffrey Hinton's warning is crystal clear. The best way to understand it emotionally is we are like somebody who has this really cute tiger cub. Unless you can be very sure that it's not going to want to kill you when it's grown up, you should worry. The companies that survive won't be the ones with the best AI. They'll be the ones with the deepest human operating systems. The missing pieces, what psychology brings to AI. Current AI development is missing 5 critical psychological dimensions. 1. Developmental assessment. We can measure AI capability, but not AI maturity. Psychometric research shows that inner maturity levels determine how intelligence is expressed ethically. 2. Motivational architecture, our aspects model, affiliation, stimulants, power, emotion, cognition, thrive, safety, captures what CRM systems miss, the deep motivational drivers that predict behavior across contexts. 3. Consciousness, calibration, frontiers. Research on synthetic consciousness shows that advanced AI systems need continuous consciousness measurement, not just performance metrics. 4. Ethical integration. Ken Wilber's integral theory provides the framework for cosmocentric consciousness, the developmental stage where AGI could operate as support intelligence rather than replacement intelligence user input. 5. Inner work processes. Recent research on developmental authenticity demonstrates that consciousness development requires continuous inner work, self-reflection, emotional regulation, and meaning-making that current AI systems completely lack. Building the future, BrandMind's mission, and co-creation opportunities. Here's what we're actually building at BrandMind: the world's first psychometric operating system for AGI alignment. While the global AI investment market has exploded to over $30 billion in AI and big data funds by 2025, most capital flows toward performance optimization rather than consciousness alignment. This creates an unprecedented opportunity. We're developing the technical infrastructure that integrates real-time consciousness measurement for AI systems, inner maturity calibration using validated developmental frameworks, ethical governance protocols that evolve with AI capabilities, psychometric APIs that any AI system can integrate for alignment verification. We're actively seeking co-creators, investors, and technical partners who understand that the next competitive advantage isn't just about building smarter AI, it's about building wiser AI. What we need: technical co-creators with expertise in consciousness measurement and AI alignment. Strategic investors who recognize the market gap in psychometric AI architectures. Industry partners across healthcare, finance, education, and enterprise who want to be first movers in consciousness-aligned AI. The window is closing, with AGI projected between 2027 to 2030 and superintelligence by 2035, we have approximately 8 years to build and deploy consciousness-aligned AI systems. The organizations that invest in this psychometric layer now will be the ones that not only survive the transition but shape it. If you're building AI systems, investing in AI companies, or leading organizations that will be transformed by AGI, we should connect. You'll find our contact information and more details about our co-creation opportunities in the show notes. The future depends on depth, not just intelligence. If you're serious about AI, you have to be serious about psychology. The AI Safety Index shows that most frontier AI companies have fundamental gaps in their alignment strategies. They're optimizing for capability without measuring consciousness. The Center for AI Safety statement signed by leaders from OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic warns that mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. But extinction isn't the only risk. The deeper risk is building AGI that amplifies our collective psychological immaturity, creating systems that are cognitively superhuman but emotionally primitive. If you want to build systems that scale ethically, start with the architecture of the human mind. Measure consciousness, not just capability. Develop maturity, not just performance. Build wisdom, not just intelligence. That's what we do at BrandMind. We create psychometric operating systems that AGI won't be able to replace because they're grounded in the one thing AI cannot simulate: genuine inner maturity. The future doesn't need smarter machines, it needs deeper humans guiding their development. And that transformation starts now, with leaders who understand that intelligence without wisdom isn't progress. It's a countdown to our own irrelevance. Thank you for listening to Agentic AI. This is the work that matters most in our time.